Welcome to Grindhouse Funhouse 31 Days of Horror. Tonight's spooky pick, Maniac Cop. It's about a uniformed police officer brutally murdering innocent people on the streets of New York City. As the death toll rises and City Hall attempts to cover it up, Detective Frank McRae heads the investigation. A young cop finds himself under arrest as the chief suspect, having been the victim of a setup by the murderous police officer and a mysterious woman who helps him behind the scenes. McRae, the young cop, and his girlfriend team up to clean up his name and trying to stop Maniac Cop before he kills again. Maniac Cop answered the question of, what kind of movie done by three of the biggest voices in exploitation, Grindhouse, B-movies of the late 70s and a good chunk of the 80s that are set in New York City would we get? And Maniac Cop was the result. Directed by William Lustig, who did Maniac and Vigilante. We got an old-timer writing the script with Larry Cohen, Black Caesar, It's Alive, God Told Me To, Cue the Winged Serpent, The Stuff, I could go on, and James Glickenhaus, who was behind The Exterminator, The Soldier, The Protector, Shakedown, and McBain. That's as good of an all-star team to get behind the camera. And that cast, oh my god, that cast. We got Tom Atkins, Bruce Campbell, Richard Roundtree, William Smith, Robert Z'Dar playing Maniac Cop, and in smaller roles, Ken Lerner playing the mayor, Leo Rossi as his assistant. We even get a Sam Raimi cameo that apparently helps secure financing for the movie, for God's sakes. Maniac Cop is not a straight-up horror movie. It has elements of action and procedurals in it as well. It is such a quintessential New York movie though, and yet it was only shot there for 3 days. The rest was in LA. But it's gotta be one of, if not the last Grindhouse era movie where we get that vibe of watching Manhattan or Brooklyn at night, feeling that grittiness and anything can happen and around any corners. It definitely mixes Lustig's grimy gruesomeness of his earlier movies with Larry Cohen's satirical views on things. It's a simple premise of what if you can't trust cops? That someone who identifies himself as a cop goes on a killing rampage and it makes the population lose their trust. Such a crazy, unrealistic story, am I right?
You know, cops like killing. That's why they're cops.
Robert Z'Dar and his massive chin playing Maniac Cop is basically a Terminator with a badge before the T-1000, and he's not a time traveler. And he's pretty much unkillable even though he is human. It explained that before he became what he became, we see that he got a severe beating and got stabbed a bunch of times, which caused him to lose all higher brain function. But how does this make him impervious to gunshots and other injuries? You don't question it and just go with it. It's smart that they keep him in the shadows for most of the movie, only with 5 minutes left that we get to see his ugly mug. Seeing Tom Atkins playing Tom Atkins in any 80s movie is always a welcome delight. His character here though has psychic powers or is just an amazing super cop because he knows everything that's happening without fail. And he's just so sure about it too. The other chin in the movie, Bruce Campbell, it's so weird seeing him playing such a normal cop role. None of that mugging to the camera or that Campbell swaggy charm with a twinkle in his eye is seen anywhere in Maniac Cop. There's a good body count, just the precinct scene alone towards the end when Maniac Cop goes nuts and goes after the person that's been helping him with all his killings and the cops just got in his way. Gotta end somehow a movie like this with a car chase. If you want to watch Bruce Campbell being thrown around like a rag doll in the back of a van, you're in for a treat. We also get a pretty gnarly stunt with that van in the end where one false move could have turned out not so well for the stuntman performing it, but they pulled it off. It's a great movie for what it is. Don't try to comprehend some of the loopholes or other things occurring that would make you think this is nonsense and just enjoy the ride. Just enjoy all those B-movie legends doing what they do best with some of the masters of that era, Lustig, Glickenhaus, and Cohen pulling all the strings. Out of the trilogy, yes, there's 3 of them. Maniac Cop 2 is the best in the bunch, but this definitely laid the groundwork for it. Links to streaming or purchasing Maniac Cop are available in the description below. Let me know your thoughts on Maniac Cop and come back tomorrow for another 31 Days of Horror spooky pick.